So officially, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and depending on where you are, we're all over the world now with Zoom. So we're happy to have you. This is a styling and arrangement class that we're doing. Last week we worked on witchcraft, and how did that go? I'm curious as to which rhythms you all used.
All right.
Well, I played it this morning and I used what came up on the um,
Song set up.
song setup. Yes, that was that one.
Was it? It was Beyond the Sea for you, correct?
Right? Yes.
Yes, yes.
I used Oscar Swing.
Who did that?
Levon, I used Oscar's Swing.
Oh, nice. Nice. I don't even think we discussed that last time. Oscar Swing is a great, great rhythm. What else did you all do? You're all unmuted mostly at this point in time. So,
Right.
talk.
Doug here.
Hi, Doug.
I used Vegas Big Band, and mostly because I liked the well, I'm going to call them marimbas, but it comes up vibra or whatever it is on the keyboard, but the marimbas I like, so I use Vegas Big Band.
Is it a vibraphone?
Thank you, vibraphone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like that one. So I
Yeah.
did
So,
Vegas Big Band.
we make a lot of decisions when we try a rhythm. And one of the decisions you make is, do you like the intro? Does the intro really get you? Another decision of why you choose a certain rhythm has to do with maybe what the style of the rhythm is tempo wise. Another decision is you happen to want to play it with this particular rhythm because you like the sounds that were offered on that rhythm style. So there's a lot of different reasons why we will vary it. The good news is having so much variety, even if you're on an easy instrument, on the smaller easy Lowrys, you still have a lot of choices. And so that means that you don't have to play it the same way 2 times in a row, which is great.
Right. Yeah. I always feel like I'm cheating if I bring up something like Vegas Big Band and the tempo is 190, but I bring it down to 130. Is that really cheating, or it's just doing whatever I want to do because I'm
That's
doing
not
it?
cheating at all. That's
Okay,
making the instrument stick with your ability.
good. Okay, good. All right.
That yeah, keep in mind with our virtual orchestras is that the instrument is never in charge. You are in
Good,
charge.
good. All right,
And
good.
so if it's going ahead of you or pushing you, then you have to pull it back and say, wait a minute, you're going to stick with me.
Right.
So
Okay.
you're the orchestra, you're the conductor, and you're the audience all at the same time. That's what it's really about. So always make sure, and I think sometimes people say they're kind of intimidated. Is this microphone okay?
Uh-huh. Yes.
My microphone's okay?
Yes.
Yes.
All right,
For me,
I'm getting a little bit of feedback, so I wasn't sure. Um, so one of the things is that the instrument can't work without you, and you need to be the one in charge. And I don't ever feel guilty, if you will, about slowing a rhythm down. I want to play it at the speed I think it should be, and I want to play it at the speed that I know I can keep up with. So that instrument is there to work for you. It's not the other way around. Now we
cool.
can utilize it in great ways and make it do as much as it can do for us. But basically, you're still always making the decisions on how that's going to work.
Good. Okay.
Is anybody in a position? I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but if you're working on during the week and playing the song that we happen to be styling for the next week, you if you're at a laptop or a computer, if you would record it ahead and then just play it for us. That's another way that we can get people involved playing. It's a little frustrating for me to just play the song again for you because you've been playing it all week or
Yeah,
some
I
of the
know.
week.
I know.
So Has anybody done that this week to put it on a USB and record yourself?
I guess not.
If I say it
Well,
once, I'll say it 100 times. You literally should record yourself at least one time a week.
yeah,
And the reason for that is not so you can hear if you made a mistake. The reason for that is so you can play it back and walk around the room, if you will, and then you're listening to all of the orchestra, everything that's going on at the moment.
right.
You
right.
never get to hear all that when you're actually sitting and playing because you're concentrating on the music and your right hand and your left hand chords. There's a lot going on. So you never get to hear the full extent of the great virtual orchestra that you purchased unless you can hear it as being recorded. So I really,
Right.
really recommend once a week, do that recording. If you hate it, erase it. You know, there's no problem with that at all.
I did.
ahead.
I did record it on my phone. I just Zoom on my iPhone, but I've got it as a recording, but I don't know how to transfer it over to a Zoom meeting. And see, it's all on my iPhone, so I don't know how to do that technically.
And are you talking into your phone right now, or are you talking into something else?
I'm talking into my phone right now with earbuds on.
Then I bet you can't transfer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Joanie, it's Gail.
Hi.
Hi, can you just give us a quick review of how to do that? Because I mean, I keep wanting to do it, and then when I sit down, I forget what I'm supposed to do.
Okay, so you go to the music recorder, which in most people's cases is to the far right panel.
Right?
If I can bring this over here. So over here is my, you can barely see that. Let's see if I can move this camera a little bit. It's not cooperating. There we go. So after the harmony section comes the music recorder.
Right.
And so you want to push record, and it will start recording. You'll hear the metronome until you begin playing. It's always good to give it a few seconds. And then you push record when you're ready, and you play your song, and you push stop. And then you would play it back.
Okay, but if for the purposes of this class, let's say we wanted to play what we recorded, I would have to put it on a stick because I'm working off of my laptop now for this arranging class.
Right. So you're going to push play. You put your
Okay.
stick on and you push play, and then you've got to let it play out the entire song.
Okay.
And then it will be on your stick.
Well, wait a minute. Where do I put the stick in? To the red? You mean I put my stick into the USB port
Correct.
in
Into
the
the port.
organ?
Yes.
And then I record the song.
No. Then you play the song that you've already recorded.
Okay, but how do I get that onto my computer to play? Like if I
But
wanted
then you
to.
take your stick and you put it in your computer.
Oh, so it's going to be in a format that I
It's
can
going to be
just.
in a format of an MP3 in your case.
Okay.
Now, if
Oh,
you don't have the capability of MP3, then that
Yeah,
maybe
no, I
can't be
do.
done unless you convert it to a Lowry file.
Yeah, no, I can do that on the Aria. I just wasn't sure, like, how do I get the recording onto my stick and then put that stick into my laptop?
Yeah, that's the only little, it's not really a snafu, but the only extra step that you have to do is once you are ready to get it put on there, you have to let it play out the entire thing. It doesn't just quote unquote by osmosis go on your stick.
Okay.
But
Okay.
that's good because that in that case you've at least listened to yourself once, if not twice.
Okay. Thank you.
That's a very good thing. Is anybody in a position where they could play witchcraft for us right now, where you're near your instrument?
Where'd you go?
I didn't go anywhere. I'm waiting for an answer.
Oh, mine's in the other room.
Okay. Anybody gonna play it for us?
Not near my organ either.
Okay. Alrighty then, I guess I'll get started. But you're missing out. If you can't play, definitely record. I'm gonna go with Swing of India again because I figured out, well, I didn't figure it out, I just kind of knew, but I thought if you want to know, I'll share. I mentioned last time that there's a 20 measure introduction on Swing of India. And so I play along with it. I don't play all of the introduction, but the main notes. There we go. It started without me there. I played just some main notes to play along with it, and that was kind of fun, and I can tell you what that is. On some of the rhythms, you'll find it easier than others to play along, but even if you hit, if the first chord in this situation is an F chord, you know that probably if you hit an F note somewhere along the time the introduction is playing, it's going to sound good. So you can always play along with it, and I would encourage you to do that as much as you possibly can, because then it has you engaged, which is what I love. I love you to be engaged with the intro, and I absolutely love it when you're engaged with the ending, as opposed to closing your book and walking away while it's still playing. That's not the concept that we want to get. So here we go with Witchcraft, and I'm going to start with the George Shearing sound, actually. It's a typical rhythm preset or style setup, depending on your terminology. How do we do? Any questions? Anything about what we added? Any questions you might have
Did you
on
use
it?
72?
I'm sorry, Carl, again?
What speed did you use? 172?
No, I pulled it down to 160.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. 172 is a little pushy for me anyway. So no questions on anything I added or changed or... Sylvia, you're awfully quiet today.
I had to unmute myself. I
There
had
you
to
go.
take a long distance phone call, so I missed part of the discussion.
Oh, okay, that's all right.
It was with my doctor. I figured I better take it.
That's kind of important. Well, did you remind him that you were having your other medicine as well, that music medicine? Always important to remind them because I think sometimes they don't think about it.
No, I've told people and they agree with me that music is a great health healer.
Absolutely. It is just as important as your other medicines. That is what's good for your health. It's good for your mind. It's good for your data in your body. I mean, we've proven that with the studies we've done. So it's a very important thing. And I was just saying to somebody this morning on the phone that she's kind of had to cancel some appointments, and she's like, I don't like to cancel, so I know you're there, and I'll just call you. And I said, it's not healthy if you're not playing every day, even if you just play one song. But you got to go, once you get in that habit, that's a much easier habit to get into than working out, let's say. Just play one song a day. Maybe it's when you first get up. Maybe it's before you have your lunch. Maybe it's before you have your dinner. And if it turns out to be more than one song, great, great. That's wonderful. But we got to turn it on and touch it every single day. And you owe that to yourself. So I hope that you will take my advice to heart and make sure you do that. So we're going to create an arrangement today for What I Did for Love. And hopefully you all got the email that this is the song we were doing. I think we have our internet issues resolved and the credit card issues, and it was a week's worth of fun, let me tell you. Nothing worked in the store except the instruments. The instruments and the phone worked, so I kind of stuck with that. Didn't know what else to do. But I think we got it all managed now. On Friday, we figured it all out. So today I want to talk to you about styling and arranging, because I like to take you to the next level of thinking about how you do this. And one of the things that I view as important in making an arrangement is balance. Balance is important to me. And I don't mean volume balances. I mean, a nice arrangement may start with a sound, and when you get to the end of the song, you end with the sound you started with. That's a balance to me. Or maybe you want to start the song with a theme that kind of announces the song. Because as you know, some of our signature rhythms will be for that particular song.
Right.
Some will not. And so if we hear an introduction and it's not the signature for the song, as of when the introduction is playing, the listener, including yourself, still has no clue what song they're going to hear.
Right.
So sometimes balancing it so that you know that ahead of time makes a really nice way of starting, and that's what I'm going to encourage you to do today. So I have a question for everyone to answer. See if you can do that for me. There we go. I got some people coming in. What is the last musical phrase in this song?
What I Did for Love.
Yes, absolutely. Great job, Doug. What I Did for Love. That's the last musical phrase in the song. So since I'm not going to have a signature style on here,
Right.
I am choosing to start with that. Just the right hand, and play that last musical phrase first. Then I'm going to go to the introduction and then come in with the beginning of the song. So I put a little bar line down on this, on the What I Did for Love. It starts with a D as in dog note.
Mm-hmm.
Little bar line just behind that. So, and wrote intro. And I just want to use those couple little notes, 5 notes, just to give a balance of leading into the song. So, I'm not going to make changes yet. I'm going to go and do song setup, which song setup comes on with Love Ballad on the midline to Elite Instruments. So I'm just going to play it the way it's written first, including that introduction. And then we'll talk about what kind of features that we can actually use and what other options you have for rhythm styles. And every day is a little different, so it's just a matter of what you feel like doing that day. So I'm going to go to my song setup and get What I Did for Love. There we go. Sets up again Love Ballad. My introduction, when I do play it, is going to be in the key of C. And for right now, I'm just going to use what's offered. So I'm going to choose a choir to sing that first theme before I even begin to play. Let's go down an octave. Now I really established the song, right? Okay, so what did you notice that I did? I'm really trying to get it so that you can share what your observations are, which is going to help you to be thinking of how to do it with other songs that you may want to do styling and arranging with, which is a lot of fun. There's no such thing as a bad arrangement. There's such a thing as it could be a better arrangement, but any arrangement is going to be different than when we started out playing Mary Ann and we started at the first note and ended at the last, and that's all that happened. So any arrangement is of what you can do to it is going to be super. And of course, the first element that makes it come under the title of an arrangement is when you change your sounds. But in just listening, what did you notice that I did?
I noticed when you changed the presets, does this song follow the AABA?
Yes.
Because I know we were taught, with that schematic where the instrument changes usually come.
Right. So we play the first section of the song and then it has dots to repeat. So that first section is the A section, and when we're going to repeat. So now we're going to the A section again. And so that's a logical place for you to want to get a different sound. And then when I come down to the bottom of the first page, we go into the bridge on the A minor chord and the C note. That's the bridge, so I want a new sound there as well. And then when I come back to, on the second page, Kiss the Day Goodbye, now I'm back to the A section again to finish it up.
Right.
So I want to change my sound again there.
And then also when you introduced the song, you started with the chorus and then you ended with the chorus.
Correct. Very good.
But
Yeah.
you actually use the intro besides that. Didn't you
I did.
actually play the
I
introduction?
established the
Yeah.
song with the last musical phrase, What I Did for Love. Then I hit the professional intro.
Right, with the chorus.
And then I came in starting the song when the intro was over. But I had already established the song just by that one little musical phrase. And all I did was play those right-hand notes. I didn't do anything fancy.
Right. But when you played the intro for Love Ballad,
Yes.
was that intro 1 or 2?
That was intro 1.
Intro 1.
And
Okay.
some people, what I've been finding over maybe the last year, but certain people gravitate to intro 2 all the time. And I listen to them and I try to figure out why that is. And in most cases, if they had their druthers, they might not even use an intro. So they use intro 2 because they're not engaged with it and it's shorter. And to me, that's not a good reason to make that decision. Either way, whichever intro you're going to use, you want to be fully engaged, just like the Firehouse subs say, right? We talked about that last week. Be fully engaged. I like intro 1 a lot, unless I'm using a signature style and not playing the signature song. I like that. And the reason I like it is because that's the best musicians you're going to get. It sounds the best. They're just terrific. Doesn't matter what size instrument you have. You have, like when we first made the Freedom 3 for the SD, those introductions are amazing. They're so good. So we're not talking about, oh, well, if you have an elite. No, you want to take advantage of that musicianship that you have built in, that you're part of, and use those intros. It's very, very good. And the endings make it complete. So it's important to use that as well. So once in a while I do a Zoom with someone and they're playing for me, and when they finish the song, they'll just stop. I want to hear you complete yourself, and that's going to be with an ending, you know.
Joanie,
Yes.
on when you did the first 5-6 notes on the bottom, you did it with your right hand in the choir, but what did you do with your left hand? Nothing? or
Nothing.
what?
I think.
I didn't do
Okay.
anything with my left hand. All I did was play those right hand notes strictly to establish the song and melody I was going to play.
Okay.
That's all I did. Okay. So, Love Ballads is what song setup comes on with. But the other thing I want to speak about for a moment is if you go down toward the end of the song, won't forget, can't forget what I did for love, what I did for love, what I did for love. Maybe you heard this and maybe you didn't, but what I did was I
Yes.
doubled those
Yes.
measures.
Hmm.
Yeah, you changed the timing.
I
Yeah.
doubled. In other words, I was cutting it in half and slowing it down because I'm coming up to the end of the song and I want something to sound more final. Well, if I kept it in the same timing, it would be won't forget, can't forget what I did for love, won't forget what that's how it's going to be. But if I cut them in half, won't forget 2, 3, 4, can't forget. So I'm doubling the measures. I put in bar lines and doubled the measure so it would be more final. For instance, what I did for love did is a C note. Instead of it being a half note, I made it a whole note. That's a whole measure right there because I'm finalizing the end of the song. And you could do that with any piece of music you're doing is toward the end. Well, maybe not something like the Saints, a fast song, you wouldn't do it. But in any kind of your pretty ballads and soft and easy type songs, you can always cut the last couple phrases in half and double them to make it more final. So that's what I did at the end of the song. I also, in this particular song, I found it helpful, and I liked using the no chord or smash
Yes.
chord, if you will.
Yes. Hmm.
That gives another little accent to the melody and lets the melody, for a few notes only, the melody stands on its own, which is very important. You know, one of the different artists who play, one of the comments that people would get is I couldn't follow the melody because he played over the melody and in addition to the melody. So sometimes your ear would lose the melody. It's very important to always have the melody established. That doesn't mean you can't embellish the melody, but you really have to be able to know and hear the melody as you know it. So I use the no chords to help me with that.
Joanie,
Yes.
I'll probably listen again where those no chords went. I heard them go by, but was that at the beginning of like Kiss the Day Goodbye, different things like that?
I didn't do it in the beginning, but I wished I had. Because what I did was I let the intro play all the way through.
Right.
And so then I had to wait an extra beat before I could come in. And in my waiting time, I wished I would have done the no chord.
Okay.
That would have been a better drama introduction, if you will,
Right.
than just playing with everything going on. So yes, I probably would do that.
It's labeled as a
And or
no.
the other thing I might do if I thought about it again, but I didn't pay so much attention to the love ballad rhythms as I did others. But another thing I would do is come in while the intro's still playing.
Oh,
So
okay.
the last part of your introductions on your screen say, no matter what size instrument you have, says 1, 2, ready, play.
Hmm.
So if you want to come in on the introduction, when it says 2,
Hmm.
don't play on 1, but as soon as it says 2, ready, play, you're already playing. And that is another way to come in with the introduction. Okay? So I want to give you a couple of chord things and right hand things that you can do. In Kiss the Day Goodbye, bye is a G note. I played 3 chords in that measure. I played C. Guess what the next one was?
G.
C7? I don't know.
No.
D minor.
Look where it's going. It's going from C to A.
Oh,
Oh,
B flat?
Well, that's the 3rd chord I played. I played C, then I played
B.
a B chord,
B chord and then B flat.
and then I played a B flat chord, and on the tie, that's where I played the A7. I didn't wait for an extra beat. So we're just walking down instead of holding a C.
Got it.
We're going to walk down C on the third beat, B as in boy, fourth beat, B flat, and then the first beat of the measure, A7 right there. On line 2, the lyrics read into the sweetness and the sorrow. Sorrow, the notes, the right hand notes go from an F to a D. So F to D,
You did your gliss or whatever.
I played every note. Just played every note instead. Not real fancy, but it's a nice little kind of fill. And then on the next measure, the chord says F minor. I did play an F minor 7th. 7th sounded very nice.
Would you repeat where that is?
After the words, the sweetness and the sorrow.
Second line.
Line 2, if you have what I'm looking at.
Line 2 of the song? Oh, okay.
And then at the end of line 2, I did a fill, and then I did a no chord. So that when I played, and I can't regret, and I can't really, that was with a no chord going on. So I could really hear that melody quite clearly. On the last note of that line, it's what I did for love. Love is a B note. And on the B note, I did a trill. B, C, B. That's all I did. And then I used the fill again. And then before I go back up and repeat, of course, now I've done my smash chord.
Joanie,
Yes.
when you did the fill, right, with the B, C, B, were you playing those 3 notes during the fill, or you played them with the G chord and then did the fill?
Ready to go?
I don't know.
Okay.
We're going to have
That's
to
okay.
play it again and see what I did.
Okay.
The way I have it written, it looks like I played the trill and then did the fill.
Gotcha.
But I can't swear to that yet until I hear it again.
Yeah. Okay.
At the top of the page for me, the lyrics are, as we travel on is a B note, B as in boy. There's an E minor chord there. I played E minor 7th,
Mhm.
added a 7th.
I'll just put it off this way.
Got one in the other room you gotta shut off too.
Somebody might want to mute yourself, please.
It didn't go off. No.
On line 2, Kiss Today Goodbye. That's another place where I did no chord and
Right.
the fill. And then after goodbye is that C to A. So we're going to walk down. C, B is in boy, B flat, and then the A is on the tie. And then in the last lines, again, I doubled the measures.
Right.
So I'm going to give you some ideas here. Here's some rhythms that work
On.
nicely. It's possible. That works nicely. Smooth for the easy products is beautiful. Out There Ballad for the Elite series works lovely. Bolero de Amor, I love it, love it, love it, as you know. So I loved playing it with that. And also an older rhythm, but has really remained kind of timeless and beautiful, is Soliloquy. And that
Yeah.
works beautifully with it.
What was the one you said?
I would
in between?
encourage
It's-
you to, if you have the ability, I would encourage you for this to use MCS Plus, because, you know, you're going to be sounding like you're playing 6 and 7 notes for a chord instead of 1 or 2. Also, when you're on, especially using sounds like Well, any sounds really. Cascade, if you have the ability to put cascade on, it's beautiful. I do not have that ability right now on the instrument I'm on, but I can sing the cascade in my head and know what it would sound like. Well, I could play it too, but I
Joni, I'm not
didn't
sure I
play
know.
it for you because I didn't want you to see me playing a whole lot of notes and then you might say, well, I don't know how to do that. But Cascade, the button can do it for you, so that's awesome. Yes, Doug.
I was just going to say I don't know what Cascade is because it's probably not on a Sterling.
Okay, right, it's not. So the Cascade, well, it might do this.
Okay.
So it puts one note at a time underneath it. It's
Okay.
beautiful. It's an amazing feature. So I'm going to give you a little taste. And going into your categories, if you don't want to use rhythm preset, which as Doug expressed this morning, and I agree with him, sometimes you're not satisfied with the rhythm preset sounds for whatever reason. Maybe you have it in your head. I would like a few more strings or some smooth sounds, especially for a song like this. We do want it to be smooth and not more abrupt sounds. So you can go into your love songs category and use those.
Yeah.
You can also go into Lush. Lush has beautiful sounds. That's another great category to use. All right, so I'm just going to give you a little taste of, just a little taste of It's Possible, and then I'll stop, and then we'll try now. It's Possible is a signature style. Again, I'm not playing It's Impossible, so that's a case when I do that rhythm, I'm going to use Intro 2.
Right.
Because I don't want to hear the song It's Impossible when it is going to be impossible. So let me see here. Let me get back to this. Let's go. Here's It's Possible with Intro 2. And I'm going to take a brief look. I have a Lush piano to start with. I have a soft theater, and I have some nice strings. So I may or may not love it, but I'll give it a try for a little bit of it. So here I am with my strings. Okay, the fill came after the trill.
Yes.
I found it. That's a little bit of an example of It's Possible. So now I'm going to go to, let's see, Bolero di Amore. I'm going to go start with the chorus. So Gone, Love is Never Gone, yada, yada, yada. Let me get this. Here we go. Let's just adjust the tempo a little bit. extra measure to let the fill go there
Right.
because I thought it sounded great. Okay, always coming back for that balance that want to sound the way I started. Establish it that way. Soliloquy's beautiful. Out There Ballad's beautiful. There's a lot of really great rhythms for this particular song. And the only other thing I did that I hadn't mentioned, but when I played in the beginning, the last musical phrase, what I did for love, the F is a quarter note, correct? That's over the word did.
Yes.
I held
Yeah.
that F when I played the B. And then when I went to the C, I dropped my thumb down to E right next to my F. That's all I did. Hold it. It gives you a little tiny bit of harmony, but not a whole lot. Just an extra note and 2 notes. Questions?
Joni, I have a question. On page 2, the second line, I guess it's the third measure. You added something there, and I didn't get something about walking down, but I
Yeah,
didn't.
I played a C chord on the first beat,
Yeah,
and then on the third beat, I played a B as in boy chord.
okay.
And then on the fourth beat, I played a B flat chord. That's the walk down from C to A.
Oh, okay. But you're holding the G note while you're doing
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
And the MCS plus is what makes me sound terrific.
Okay.
And it's one button, not doing anything spectacular by any means.
Joanie,
Yes.
on the aria, the song setup is always in mind with alter style and intro too.
Is this Al talking to me?
Yes,
Okay. I thought I recognized your voice. You said it puts it on it. What is the song setup that it gives you?
always in mind with alter style and intro too.
Always on my mind?
Yeah,
Always in mind.
Not Glenn Campbell.
Yeah, it's always in mind.
Oh. Well, I can't hear it because I don't have it.
I'm not sure when it might have
But
started.
it gave you intro too because it's a signature style, correct?
Right,
That's why.
yep.
Because if you hear a signature style intro and you're expecting to hear that song and then you start to play a different song, your brain kind of goes, wow, what was that about? You know, because it's not the song I thought I was going to hear. So, yeah, that definitely warrants using intro 2 if you happen to have 2 different intros, which is, if you think about it, 2 intros equal 4. So if you have 2 intros, you actually have 4 intros and 4 endings.
Right.
You have intro 1 major chord, intro 1 minor chord, intro 2 major chord, intro 2 minor chord.
Minor chord.
So you actually have 4 instead of 2, which is amazing. It's awesome. Any other questions? Beautiful song.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Joni,
Yes.
what tempo were you at?
Depends on the rhythm. Bolero came on. Let me see what Bolero comes on at because it came on too fast. I knew that immediately. So Bolero de Amor came on at 90, and I think I brought it down to like 78 or something. It was definitely too fast.
Okay.
This is a nice flowing, no pressure to be doing, a speed. It's a very accentuated with the lyrics, so you're going to want to keep it at a fairly slow, if you will, tempo.
Mm-hmm.
And then just remember that balance, that skill set. And, I don't necessarily want you to take my word for it, but I would love you to go back and apply it and say, oh, I tried balancing this particular song and here's how I did it. That kind of feedback will be really valuable for all of us. And the reason for that is because you can learn so much from each other. So that's the feedback I'm kind of looking back in the classes when I talk about this skill set or that skill set. If you can share it, that you were able to apply it in another song, that gives everybody else in the room, there's about 22 to 25 of us today, gives everybody else another idea. I'm not the only person with an idea here. You all have great ideas. And so we want to hear those as well. So try to consider that in your mind this week and see what you can offer next week. What are you going to bring to the party to tell us you tried something else? And I would just love that. It would be perfect.
Joanie, this is Doug, and I think something that I'm learning the more I play, like with the song we just did last week, Witchcraft, and I liked Vegas Big Band. The intro I used had a lot of horns in it.
Right.
And I started playing something that was not horns, and it just sounded too disjointed. So I'm starting to listen to intros, the instruments used in the intros, and trying to find something that matches it to start my playing, just for smoothness, I guess. Maybe that's just obvious. Or maybe that's obvious to everyone, but I'm just starting to pick up on it.
You do want it to match up. So if you have an intro that has big horns and you decide to go to a rhythm preset number 3, which is an organ sound, you can't have a collision.
Right.
Because they're not matching up. So that's very good that you listen to it.
Well, it might be obvious to I'm just starting to pick up on some of that stuff, but yeah, that was helpful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Well, have a wonderful day. Enjoy a little bit of our lack of humidity. Thank you, Lord, for that.
Yes.
And make sure you get out and vote if you haven't already. And I look forward to seeing the last song on the list, which is obvious for next week, is Squeeze Me, Please Don't Tease Me, I believe is the title.
Joanie,
Yes,
may I make a little announcement?
please.
I'm going to be gone next week, but for those of you that are in Sun City Center, over at the community church, or the South Shore, on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, there's going to be a sale from 9 to 12, and she has quite a bit of big Hal Leonard books.
Oh.
So if you go over there to that sale, it's next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I think it's the 12, 13, and 14. From 9 to 12, and you go into the back. I mean, they'll show you where. There's lots of music, all kinds of music, but there's a lot of big a lot of easy play books.
And would you please tell us, now you got my attention when you started talking about all these books for sale. Where is this located?
It's on the corner. It's on the corner of La Jolla and Pebble Beach. It's what we used to know as the community church. It's South Shore United Church of Christ, and it's the church is for sale, They are selling everything out of there. There's going to be lots and lots of stuff.
And it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yes, from 9 to 12.
So it's not just music, there's other
Oh,
things.
there's all decorations from every season. There's choir robes, there's organ stuff, there's basses, there's junk. There's yeah, that's where I got my book for best songs ever, number 57. I bought it over there from, for half price or whatever.
Good,
Super.
very good.
Thanks. Thanks.
In fact, she gave it to me because I worked there, but she probably won't do that.
You all over there.
All right. Well, feel free. Have a wonderful day. Please call me. It gets lonely here. Just check in and say hi. That's a great thing. Also, if you want to do a Zoom private session on anything you're working on or something we did here, I can arrange that as well. So take advantage of all that's available right now and have a wonderful day. Thanks for being here.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Joanie.
Thank you,
Thank
Joanie.
you.
You're
Bye.
very
Thank you. Bye.
welcome.